Welcome to my channel. So concerning the transport of emergency materials with a truck and a trailer to emergency zones, we need nurseries to come from, and this is the start of a nursery zone. And what I've done is I've put in coconut core blocks. This is a location that's flooding on the property, so I'm converting it to a more arable soil, less clay. I'm mixing it up a little bit. I'm adding mycelium, mushrooms, coconut core, perlite, and sand, and I'm going to keep working on this to change the structure of the soil into something that I could use in the event of an emergency and for growing. So if there is an emergency in my local community, I could be growing potatoes in here or radishes or something of that nature, and I could use this as a nursery for plants that I would put on the truck to immediately go to the emergency site and install those plants for food for local communities if there is a break in the supply chain of food. And this is really critical because this space is only something like 1 foot by 4 feet, but that foot by 4 feet is also 1 foot by 10 feet, okay? And then this is 1 foot by 10 feet, okay? And this is space that's not being used, and you can see the perlite in here, the perlite that I'm mixing into the clay-like structure to get it to absorb more water, because the clay is just way too dense right here. So in the process of making new usable soil, this will give me the time to build something for an emergency set, a time when it's an emergency, and then I could easily put this material on a truck, or I could take this material, which is a waste to the homeowner. They don't need the clay, but I could take this material with the plants in it, and I could go to another zone and I could install the plants and start fixing a problem for food sources for that local community if there's a supply chain error, something failed in the supply chain. So in mixing up this material, it aerates the clay, which takes it from an anaerobic condition to an aerobic condition, changes the microbiome of the clay, and starts putting carbon in the subsoil. And that carbon is where we base our life from. So we need the clay to shift from a clay-like substance to a aerobic substance that we can utilize to grow food for an emergency system for our local community or greater national community. You know, we're not biased. It's whoever needs it. But again, this is just a waste product area for a homeowner, and I'm changing the structure so that way I can put this on a truck, put it on a trailer, have plants with it, and we can go immediately start installing food sources for people, because when people can't eat, they panic. And we don't want them to panic, we want them to think. And this gives them the time to think and fix the issues that they're having, which are probably supply chain issues, and not panic, and then come up with a solution, because humans are incredibly resilient creatures, and we want them to not panic but have functional solutions to problems. And this is one of them. I'm doing this in my spare time. This doesn't take a lot of time to do. You can see that I'm just mixing some clay and mixing some cocoa core and mixing some perlite, and it's a very simple system to do. There's nothing complicated about it. Children can do it, old people can do it. Again, this is spare time stuff. This is not taking a huge amount of time. And in the event of a supply chain error, if I can do this before there's an error, it's more beneficial when there is an error, because we've designed it so that way in the event of an emergency we have a moderator, And this is the moderator building the soil currently while we're having good times. So we don't want to have a sudden, oh my God, there's a bad time. If there is a bad time, then we want a moderator. And this is the moderator doing something in my spare time that costs almost nothing to solve a problem for our local community. You can do this. It doesn't cost that much, doesn't take that much time. And it's a beautiful way to support your community without utilizing government intervention. There you go. Have a great day.